Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Lady Nika in with another episode review of Queen Sugar. Now, I'm behind on Queen Sugar, okay? So I'm going to do a quick little catch up. This episode that I'm doing now is the episode that aired last week. Once I complete this one, I'll come back and I'll record last night's episode, but I didn't want to combine them because there's a lot going on, and plus, I just like talking about the show. So if I combine them, it's gonna make the video too long, and I don't want that. So we're gonna do season 5, episode 6, May 27th, 2020. Okay? And then we'll come back and we'll do the episode from last night. So before I begin, I want to thank everybody that came out to my live a few moments ago. I was live. I did a live broadcast and it was fun. I was able to reconnect with a lot of you people that I have been missing. Um, Played with my baby the soap for a few minutes, made a joke with him. And it just was a beautiful experience. It is so good when I come down here to the YouTube streets and fellowship with the people that like me. It feels good for me, and it was a positive vibe. And I stand by what I said. Don't let nobody sell you no wooden, don't let nobody give you no wooden nickels because they don't spin. But let's get into this episode because I don't want it to be too long. So in this episode from last week, I's married now, honey. Ralph Angel and Darla are now husband and wife. And we see they got the truck all decorated with sunflowers with the just married sign in the back. He toting his wife now into his new wife to his truck so they can head out for their holiday, their honeymoon getaway. That's what they were headed to. Now over at Charlie, her and Micah just got the news of George Floyd dying at the hands of police officers that, as he pleaded for his life, that he couldn't breathe. And they both took the news very hard, especially Micah, because we all know Micah is starting to come into his activism, and he's really, really deep into it, like a Nova 2.0. So he's very destroyed and crushed by the news of what had happened to Mr. Floyd, as well as Charlie. Vi and Prosper is over at Vi's house, and she listening to the news reports of George Floyd's death. They both in disbelief over hearing him being killed so senselessly. Vi said that if a man came into her diner trying to pass a fade 20, she'd either deny service or serve him, because if a man trying to pass off fade 20, that means he's having some kind of hardship. She definitely wouldn't have called the police and took a chance on that man losing his life. She said it was just senseless. They're not even certain that what the police are saying at this point is true. And Prosper brought it up, said they could be lying. She said, you ain't lying. They might be lying about why they killed this man. Now, Nova at home meditating and praying. She too has heard of the death of George Floyd, and she's giving a prayer for all of those who have lost their lives senselessly to police brutality or at the hands of police, right? We saw her doing setting up candles around this her altar and sending out a prayer for each one of them as she called them by name, from Sandra Bland on down to Philando Castile and everybody in between. We heard Breonna Taylor, we heard Trayvon Martin, all the people who have lost their lives senselessly. We saw her honor them in prayer, and it was very, very emotional. She broke down saying the prayer. And I say to the writers and producers of Queen Sugar, this is an excellent show. The way you guys are able to incorporate what is happening right now within this season is excellent. I'm so impressed with how they're able to take some of the most sensitive topics, such as the virus and the killing of George Floyd, as well as we hear Breonna Taylor's names mentioned in this episode as well. How they're able to intertwine all of that into this season is done excellently. I am so honored. I love this show. A lot of people wouldn't want to touch these subjects and go as deep as they are going. So I shift my quaff to the writers and producers of Queen Sugar for such excellent writing, and to the actors who are portraying these parts. Kudos to you guys. You really deserve whatever accolades you may get beyond this for this season. I just love it. I absolutely love everything about it. Charlie and Michael watched the footage as on TV, as many of us did, and clearly he wasn't were resisting. George Floyd was not resisting. Michael was triggered because remember, Michael too had an incident with a police officer who put a gun in his mouth, and he's just thinking about how he was lucky. Mr. Floyd was not quite so lucky. Charlie tried to comfort her child as any good parent would. Michael can't believe it happened in broad daylight with people watching across the street begging the police to stop. It's just a lot to take in for him. And, I get the outrage because many of you watched me cover this story last year when it happened. And there were a couple of times I lost it too, just at the audacity and the callousness of what happened to that man. For us to actually be, it's a different thing when you see it for yourself opposed to being told. And George Floyd allowed America to see that racism very much so is still alive, and that the boys in blue are not always what they supposed to be. Moving right along, Nova is determined to do her part to make sure justice is done and that his death and his name means something. She's looking at a book, her and Calvin are, of lynching and of the past, and she's amazed at the folks who gathered to simply watch, white folks. She mentions it was three other cops that stood by watching one man get killed. And although the cops are trained to look out for one another, how could they just stand there and watch this man die and do absolutely nothing? Calvin didn't even know what to say about that. Ralph Angel and Darla is at their honeymoon getaway. I don't know if they was at a island resort or what. All I know is I saw ocean at one point. But anyway, they're about to consummate their marriage. I say this much about that scene because I don't have a whole lot to say about that. They was about to do what married people do. But I'll say this. Bianca Lawson is like that fine wine that just get better with time. That girl do not look like she is aged. And if you don't know who Bianca Lawson is, look her up. She's the actress that plays Darla. That lady is not young. Now she ain't no old hoe, but she ain't no new one either. And I'm gonna tell you something. I call that woman a hoe. I ain't mean this chat. I mean she ain't no new chicken. She ain't no old chicken either. But that girl looks good. Check her resume out and look at all the films and shows that she's been in over the years because she's seasoned. But that girl still can play the role of a young person. Bianca got to be late 30s, early 40s, and she don't even look it. I just said, y'all check her out. I just was impressed because every time I see her, even though I give her character a lot of flack sometimes, I can't say that she looks good for her age. Bianca Lawson has been around for quite some time, and she stay looking younger. It seems like sometimes every time I see her on something new, she look a little bit younger. So those of you who don't know who she is, please look her up on Google and check out her resume. You'll be surprised you've seen her in a show somewhere before. Now, Nova still hard at work on her website, trying to do her part to help in the fight for justice for George Floyd. Then she asked Calvin, did he feel ashamed at what the officers did to George? Calvin said he felt disgusted, but he didn't feel ashamed because he wasn't personally involved. She said if it were black cops who had done that, she'd feel disgusted and embarrassed. And Calvin's daughter, Courtney, even said, Why would she feel that way? Because she wasn't involved. And Nova's response was real. She said, because we black people are looked at as a collective. In the eyes of white America, whatever one black person do, y'all think that we think like that all as a collective. His daughter got it. Blacks are seen as a collective in white America's eyes. Exactly. Nova said Calvin feels no shame in a white man killing a black man so openly with bystanders around, and the black man pleading for his life. She said if black officers had done that, she'd be in shambles. She said, plus the white man in the White House sees no harm in what has happened. But if there had been Obama in that house, we'd be hanging our heads. Yet Calvin feels no connection to it, this tragedy at all. She said that that is the side effects of white supremacy, and she just walked away. I was like, damn. That relationship, baby, it's a lot to be with Miss Nova, but she didn't lie. He cannot feel it to the extent or the magnitude that we feel it because he's detached from that. He don't know about that. And whether he sees himself as racist or not, which I don't think that he's racist, but the world that he grew in has made him he grew up in has made him desensitized to the black plight, I guess you could say. Michael home watching TV from uh he's watching the TV of things happening in Minneapolis. That's where it was, where the citizens are in an outrage and has burned down the police station, and he's in full agreement, but not so much Charlie. She thinks it's a bit much because someone could be hurt, and Michael has no concern. But she warns that they can't be the thing that they hate because of this situation. She warns that you can still lead in love and reminded him of what Ella Baker said, give light and the people will find a way. Dr. King said darkness can't drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate can't drive out hate. Only love can do that. Michael reply was the Dr. King also said that what did he say? A ride is the voice of the unheard. He said Charlie tried to show him that you can still have a voice, but he said a voice in a system that was set up and designed to do exactly what it's doing be totally against us. Riding and luring may be the answer according to him. What choice do they really have to achieve justice fully in America? He said there's no turning the other cheek with a gun in our mouths and a knee in our necks. She said it as a pro. She said it's a protest that was being planned that she was aware of that's supposed to happen in front of City Hall. They suspect possible violence, so there will be a strong police presence. She asked if he planned to attend that rally, and he said, in actuality, I helped plan it, and that surprised her. Now, Darla and Ralph Angel are enjoying their honeymoon when Hollywood calls to inform him because they ain't been watching no TV. He don't even know nothing about what has happened. He told him about George Floyd. So he turned on the TV and he saw what we all saw, footage of George Floyd being killed right before our eyes. And he was extremely upset about that and bothered. Now, at the restaurant, Bob Prosper and Hollywood are there securing the restaurant from possible looters because they're about to have this protest, right? Because folks are really upset about what has happened. She don't feel anyone would do her place any harm and suggested that they look out for another business that is closed. And Hollywood basically said he ain't trying to hear that shit. He over it. Then he asked her for a hammer and a nail out his toolbox and forgot that he had that gun there and she saw it. He let her know that he had it a while to protect them and it's not, you know, to her, when you have a pistol in the home, That's inviting trouble. And they had agreed that they wouldn't have one. So now she feels like he's been lying to her. He basically said George Floyd had a life before that accident, before he was killed. Nobody's thinking about the wife, the kids, etc. And that he's not taking a chance of anything happening to his family. He said he would defend his family, even if it means he got to catch a bullet to do so. Let it be what it be. I got it. He needs to be able to defend his family, in the days of turning the other cheek are over. Be ready so you don't have to get ready, is basically what he's saying. And she understood it, but she said guns don't work for her. He said if he got to get got just so that he can protect his family, he would appreciate knowing that the people that he's trying to protect, like her, understands that he had to be armed for that particular day that could come in the future. In other words, stop trying to stop this man from being able to protect you, because we are living in some perilous times, and only the slow and the uninformed will be left to their own devices. We know better, therefore we must do better. We don't want to fight, but we are prepared and we must fight. I ain't letting nobody walk up in here and hurt me and mine without me have to at least trying to protect me and my family. And the days of talking it out and turning the other cheeks is over with. It's done with. They killing us in multitudes, and nobody gives a damn but us. So we got to be prepared to take care of our own. And that's basically what he was telling her there. Now at dinner over at Nova, she wanted to keep the TV on because things are developing in the case, and she mentions that her article is almost complete. She says she basically is focusing on bystanders that just stand there and watch it happen. I saw that their daughter here is Courtney. She a little woke. She an ally. She understood exactly what Nova was saying and how she must be feeling. And I like that. I did. I didn't think I was gonna like Courtney that much, but I like Courtney a little bit. I thought she was coming in there on some fuck shit for my mama Haley, but I don't think she is. Nova then asked Calvin to tell her about the time that he was present when his fellow officers beat up a black boy, which surprised his daughter, Courtney. He said it was over 20 years ago and he was a rookie trying to fit in. And his daughter asked, but you washed? He did. He said it was over a candy bar. His partner called in more cops, and he said he did ask him later why did he use such excessive force. And the partner said that it was a down payment. See, you catch them while they're young so they know what to expect when they're older. And his daughter was disgusted. Calvin said he know better. He know he should have showed some strength. He should have done something, but he's a better man today. He said it was one of the worst days of his life, and Nova said, nah, it might have been, it wasn't the worst day. It may have been the worst day of your life, but it was also the worst day of that black boy that had to be on the receiving end of that beat down over basically nothing. And we got quiet at that dinner table. Michael getting ready to head out to the protest, and Charlie thought he thought Charlie was gonna try to talk him out of it, but in fact, she asked him to give her one of the T-shirts because she was gonna join him at that protest. Now, Ralph and Darl is talking about how it's unfair that black kids have to see all the things that they see on TV, that, you know, the killing of this man, and she felt that it should not be televised what happened to George Floyd. He wanted to possibly not cut their trip short and stay. He said that they are on their honeymoon. Let's just say stay. He tired of feeling like death is at his doorstep. He don't want to rush back to the pain, but she just wants to go home to hold their son and see if he's okay. And he understood that. So they cut they trip short. I still don't know where the hell they was at. What was they at, y'all? Anyway, Later, we see them at the gas station getting snacks and gas, and she came out of the store with the snacks, and she had on a black mom's matter or something like that. And this white boy on the other side of the pump, who was pumping his gas and should have been minding his business, gonna ask her, "Well, what does my mama? Does my mama matter?" Ralph Angel told her to ignore the ignorance, but the white man asked, "How could she feel? How would she feel if he wore a shirt that said White Lives Matter?" And she said, "I would feel redundant. I would feel it's redundant." Old boy said to Ralph Angel, "You got one of the mouthy ones I see." And Ralph Angel checked his ass immediately and warned him he didn't want that smoke, so just pump his gas and leave them alone. Of course, he didn't. He didn't take the advice. He said that he just wanted to, he said, "Y'all just want to burn down cities and towns over one man that has resisted arrest." He said cops were called on him for a reason, and he got what he deserved, and that was fact. At that point, Ralph Angel was through talking. He said, that's a fact. He said, what is a fact is that you and your kind are on y'all last days. And he warned him to back up and go on by this way. And old boy seen the seriousness and backed the hell up. When you put a little pressure on, they already good, they scared. He went on about his business. Micah at the protest and sees his mother out there with him. So that made him happy. Hollywood talks about being a black man in America. He talked about George Floyd and his love for his mama, feeling like his mama is the only protection that he had, that he even called out for her in his final moments. He wondered, did George Floyd feel his mother in his last moment? Did he see her? And then he broke down because remember, he just lost his mother as well. Ralph Angel and Darla made it home to see Blue, who hated they had to leave their honeymoon early, but he said but they told him they wanted to be near him. And here's where you'll see kids are really smart. Blue already knew something was going on. He had heard about George Floyd. He heard folks saying Black Lives Matters. So he knew something was going on. So Ralph Angel and Darla had to explain to him what actually had happened, which is the best thing to do. I know 10 may seem like a rough age or a young age to tell a child such gory details, but in the black culture, you better educate your children as soon as possible. Because then you just hear me say that the man Calvin said that one of his colleagues on the police force said, beating up young black men is a down payment. It's letting them know what's to look forward to. So we have to educate our little kids. And this part of the show really broke me down. They explained that it's a lot of bad people in this world, that they're out there. He won't always be surrounded by good people who can shield him from that. So they want to prepare him. Ralph Angel said that he will be stopped by the police even if you're not even doing anything. And when that child asks, well, how do I stay alive? Y'all, I lost it. Like right now, I feel just like, how do you explain it to a child? How to stay alive when you ain't doing nothing? How to stay alive while black? So I watched this man tell his son, don't run. Even if you're scared, don't run. And if anything happens, call your parents. And that touched the core in me because what about those kids that can't call their parents? What about those kids that don't run? What about those young black men that didn't run, that tried to comply like Philando Castile did? It's a time in the land, baby. But that brought us to the end of this episode of Queen Sugar. I hope you all enjoyed the review. If there's anything that I left out that you feel is important, please put it down in the comment section and the conversation can continue down there. But in closing, as always, the depth of your struggle will determine the height of your success. If you did not give this video a thumbs up on your way in, on your way out, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel, share this video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Have a great remainder to your Wednesday. I plan on doing the same. Peace.